Hello, and welcome to the show New Normal with Tina Salem Manzoor. I got the guests in. I want to reveal the guests later. So this is the New Normal show with Tina Salem Manzoor. Here every week we explore a topic about studying abroad in this post-COVID-19 pandemic era that we now live in. And today we will be talking to universities from a very popular destination, the magical city of London. London is a very popular destination for students from Bangladesh, and a lot of you, I know, you have your heart set out in starting your studies abroad in London this year. And you may have a lot of questions. You want to know what actually studying in London will be like this year. So we have the show today for you where we will be asking those questions. And if you have any questions that we are not covering, please feel free to share your questions with us. We love your questions and comments. আমরা প্রত্যেক সপ্তাহে আমাদের শোতে যেটা চেষ্টা করি বিদেশে পড়তে যাওয়ার ব্যাপারে যারা আগ্রহী তাদের জন্য এখনকার সময় আসলে বিদেশে পড়তে যাওয়ার ব্যাপারটা কিরকম হবে সেই ব্যাপারে আমরা বিভিন্ন জনের সাথে কথা বলে আমরা জানবার চেষ্টা করি, সেখান থেকে যত রকম ইনফরমেশন আছে দেবার চেষ্টা করি। আজকে আমরা কথা বলবো লন্ডনের 4টি ইউনিভার্সিটির সাথে। আমরা তাদের কাছে জানতে চাইবো যে লন্ডন, যেখানে বাংলাদেশ থেকে অনেক ছাত্রছাত্রী পড়তে যেতে ইচ্ছুক থাকে এবং পড়তে যেতে চায়, তাদের জন্য এই বছরে লন্ডনে পড়তে যাওয়ার ব্যাপারটা কিরকম হবে। আমরা আজকে শো শুরু করে আপনার যদি কোনো প্রশ্ন থাকে আমাদের কমেন্টের মাধ্যমে আপনাদেরকে জানাতে পারেন, আমরা সেই প্রশ্নগুলো আমাদের গেস্টদেরকে করব। I'm very happy to introduce our guest to you. So we have with us Jake Duffin, the head of student recruitment for Brunel University of London. Hi, Jake.
Hi, thanks very much for inviting us to this session.
Thank you for your time. We have Shivani Bhalla, head of South Asia for Brunel University London. Hi, Shivani.
Hi, Tina. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity to be here. It's a pleasure to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you. We have James Farren, International Student Recruitment Manager from the University of Hertfordshire.
Good afternoon, Tina. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. And we have Lee Rowland, International Officer from London South Bank University. Hi, Lee.
Hi, Tina. Good to be with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all of you. And I would like to begin with a short introduction from each of you on your universities. And, Shivani, I have to say this, we have to go with ladies first. So I will begin with you. Please tell us about Brunel.
Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you, Tina. Much appreciated. Hi, I work for Brunel University, London. We're a university based in the west part of London. We are about 220 acres spread across with your accommodation, your lecture centers, your library, your sports facilities, all your student experience places for you to enjoy yourself while you're at Brunel and also get the right academic learning. We also have a 24-hour library that is open for our students. I myself had the experience, rather the wonderful experience of studying at Brunel and my master's, and I am originally from New Delhi, India. So I've actually been through a student journey as an international student, and I have nothing less to say, but it was absolutely amazing and the most memorable year in my life so far. We offer courses, more than 200 courses across undergraduate, postgraduate, and research levels as well. I know Bangladesh is a popular market for most of the PG programs, postgraduate programs. So we have lots of courses which have 1+1 options. We also offer the Brunel English language test absolutely free of charge for our offer holders. So I'm happy to chat with you guys through the session today. Thank you, and I'll pass it over to my other colleagues here.
Great, thank you. Lee, shall we go with you? Tell us about
London. Yeah, sure. Thanks ever so much for having me again, Tina. So I work for London South Bank University. We're an institution based in Zone 1 of London, so right in the centre, based at Elephant and Castle. We've been in this place, in this area, since we were first founded in 1892. As a university, our main focus is employability. We know that students go to university to better their job prospects and their career options. I know it's certainly why I went to university. So that's what we focus on. So all of our courses in some way or another have some real hands-on experience available to students so that when they've finished the course, they're in the best possible position to achieve their dream, get that job that they want. We believe very much in a learning by doing kind of approach to teaching. So, you don't learn to swim by reading a book about it. You jump in the pool and get started that way. And that's very much how we believe in our teaching, whether it's business, engineering, or arts and creative industries. We have lots of options available to students, whether it be through connections with industry, internships available for various courses. So there are lots of options and alternative things available for students who, want to get a particular experience.
That's London South Bank. Shall we move to Hertfordshire?
Hi, yes. Thank you very much for having us, Tina. Yeah, so the University of Hertfordshire is 25 minutes north of London's King's Cross. On the train, so it's just outside of London, so it's not in the London. So when you're doing your visa applications, you won't be you show the London allowance equivalency. You'll be at the non-London, so it's slightly more affordable in that way. It's sat in a beautiful green campus called Hatfield. It's spread across two campuses. So we have the de Havilland and the College Lane campus. We got university status in 1992, but the university was formed as a polytechnic. It was formed in 1965. It has one of the oldest computer science departments in the whole world, which was formed in 1965 with the founding of the university. And the de Havilland jet, what you guys will be flying into the UK on, that was designed at the University of Hertfordshire. That's why the de Havilland campus has been called the de Havilland campus in homage to that. We have a 96.5% employment rate at our university. We're very focused on making sure students get to where they want to go in their careers. We also have a member of placements and sandwich years for all of the programs that we offer at the university as well, with no extra charge. You pay for your tuition fees for your teaching, but the placement years, that's a free part of the experience. We are a TEF Gold rated university, and as a campus university, we're in the top 10 universities in the whole of the UK for academic facilities. We have our own observatory, we have our own Crown Court, we have multiple sports facilities at the university, flight and driving simulators as well. So it's a robotics suite. So it's a really fantastic place to come and study, to really get that practical experience at the University of Hertfordshire.
Thank you so much, Jake. Now let's hear about Queen Mary University of London.
Hi, Tina. Greetings from London. So Queen Mary is a sort of traditional and prestigious institution. Our history dates back to 1875. We're a member of the Russell Group, so we're one of the top 24 research institutions in the UK, and we're also part of the University of London. So we're an independent university, but we also share facilities with institutions like King's, UCL, LSE. We're located just to the east of the centre of London, very close to two financial districts, which means we have very, very strong links with industry. But I think what's most notable about Queen Mary is that we're a truly global university. So we have over 160 nationalities represented on our campus, so very, very international in our student population and also our staff population. About 45% of our intake each year is non-British, so international and European, and that's amongst the student population of approximately 27,000. We're very, very popular in South Asia, so we have approximately 100 students from Bangladesh every year join us, and that will be across a range of programs, including foundation, undergraduate and postgraduates. I would say courses in things like business and management and law are very popular, and we are one of the top law schools in the world, and within the top 35 in the most recent QS rankings. So I think that we're a very prestigious and well-regarded university in terms of our research, but we're also very, very popular for students from this region.
Great, it's great to hear about all the universities. I mean, now we know why you're all very popular with the students. Jake, you're also very close to Bangla town. I mean, you're in the middle of Mile End, where there's a lot of Bangladeshi population. How is it now there? Is it still as bustling? Is it back to some sort of normal?
I think if you walk around London at the moment, it feels quieter than usual. Obviously, London's quite a busy city, but things are up and running. I myself, I live in London, so I'm about 20 minutes from the Mile End campus in East London, and I've been using public transport like London Underground and buses recently.
Tube and everything is open, so
yep, it's absolutely, it's open. It's just mandatory to wear a face mask.
Right, as in everywhere else.
Yeah, so restaurants have begun to reopen. It's just been announced that things like gyms are to reopen. So things have, compared to sort of 2 to 3 weeks ago, if you stepped outside of your house, it's very, very different and almost back to normal, I would say.
That's very good to know. In Hertfordshire, how are things like, James? Can you hear us? Okay, what are things like in London South Bank?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very similar to what Jake said. You know, everything's beginning to open back up again. Things are slowly starting to move around, and particularly in moving through central London, I think it's fairly evident that things are slowly starting to get back to normal. You have that level of kind of busyness that you had before. I actually myself don't live in London. I live in Colchester, which is about 50 miles northeast. But I have driven into London a couple of times, and I got caught in traffic. So that tells me that things are starting to get back to normal.
Well, I mean, I think more than ever now, we like seeing traffic on the road.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, when there's a jam, you feel like, okay, it's good. I mean, that's normal now, no matter how much we hated it before. James, do we have you back? We wanted to know how things are like in Hertfordshire.
Yeah, well, I live in North London, and I'm looking out my window right now, and you wouldn't know there's a global pandemic going on. There's a lot of flouting going on, to be honest, as well. But there's also a lot of what the university's done to make sure that it's safe for students to come back. And there's a number of measures that we're putting in for students. But yes, we are seeing things to return to normal, and with a bit of sun as well in the UK. So things are getting better.
That's very good. Shivani, are you all still working from home?
Yes, Tina, I am based out of Delhi, India, but in close contact with everyone in London, friends, family, and colleagues. Brunel is located in West London, so we are about 15 to 20 minutes from Heathrow Airport. Of course, the airport is a bit quiet right now. The campus still has about approximately 1,300 students living in our accommodation. So far, we don't have any reported cases on the campus. Fingers crossed it continues that way. I think with the rest of the feedbacks fairly similar. I had a couple of friends who stepped out shopping to Primark and Marks and Spencer's last weekend. Some celebrated birthdays in the pubs, went out to eat, and I was sitting here in India in 43 degrees and wondering, why am I not there? So it's a mixed bag of emotions.
To drive out the students from the campus if things go online.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's a mixed bag of emotions, but I still feel that I think for all of us, and I could speak for all of us here, we have to ensure safety and well-being for our students. Having said that, everything's opened up doesn't mean life is completely back to normal. And I think we should be cautious and careful, even if things start opening up. I think that's our responsibility.
Which brings me to the main theme of the day, and I would like to begin with you, Jake. Tell us what learning will look like, what your campuses will look like this fall. What is the main intake for students? And so everybody's looking forward to starting their journey in September, but very unsure what learning will actually be like. So please tell us in Queen Mary, what changes can we anticipate?
Yeah, it's a really good question, Tina, and one that we're being asked a lot by both prospective students and offer holders. So at Queen Mary, we have sort of two offerings, I think, for international students. Firstly, we plan to go ahead in September as we would every year, and students will be able to start in mid-September, but we'll be teaching in a form of blended learning. That means that a large proportion of the course is taught online, and we are set up to deliver our programs online with some of the cutting-edge technology. But there'll also be face-to-face learning on campus. So we'll have things like small seminars, sessions with academic advisors, a number of kind of wraparound activities involving the Students' Union. So I think the big difference, apart from the fact that the courses are going to be delivered by blended learning, is that students can also enroll online and then arrive at any stage during the first semester. So at Queen Mary, students can start their program in September, but arrive as late as the 5th of February. The second step that we've taken is to introduce or offer quite a large range of our most popular postgraduate programs in January 2021, when we're more optimistic that we'll be able to deliver those courses completely face-to-face. So we're offering over 18 different LLM programs, master's courses in things like data science, business and management subject areas, and economics and finance. So I think for us, we have the blended offering in September, which will have elements of online and face-to-face, plus some courses in January, which we hope will be entirely face-to-face.
Will there, do you know, is there going to be any split, like half, is it half online, half in person, or has not?
I think that's going to differ depending on the course and by institution. So I think that, in some areas, humanities areas like law or business, there's more scope to deliver face-to-face in areas than areas that require labs or facilities. So I would urge any student who's got questions about that, specific to Queen Mary's, to contact me, and I can talk them through what the sort of delivery would be for their particular course.
Great, that would be great. Lee, will things be similar in London South Bank? Are you also thinking of blended learning, combining in-person and online?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are gonna be some courses that will have that mix of face-to-face teaching with some sort of online elements. So, for instance, some courses, I'm sure the seminars will be face-to-face, but the larger lectures where normally you have kind of 300 people in one room, that may be taken online, so the students can hang back at their accommodation. But yeah, we plan to welcome Tier 4 students as we have done previously. We also do have an intake in January where some of our courses will be on offer again. Some courses will be 100% online. That again is for safety. We have 18,000 students normally on our campus, and everything for LSBU is in one place. We're really lucky in that sense, but it's impossible to maintain the government social distancing guidelines with all 18,000 students on our campus. So we had to take some sort of precautions and move some courses 100% online. But we're hoping that in January, when things are back to normal, they'll be able to join us in person for the second semester.
Now, I wanted to ask so even for international students, that's not a problem. If they start online for now in September, and they're good to join you in January. So that's
absolutely, yeah.
That was one of the concerns students were asking. Do any of you want to add anything to that? What your campus?
So at Hertfordshire, we will now be starting from the 26th of October 2020. So we pushed our start date back by a whole month.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so we will be having face-to-face teaching, but similarly to my colleagues, there will be elements of blended learning in there as well. But we do think it's very important that the international experience, that you do have that face-to-face teaching, but equally, it's also important to stop the spread of the pandemic. So we are doing what we can, putting a number of safety measures in place to ensure that the spread is contained, but students are safe on campus, but they do have the face-to-face experience. So, for example, each classrooms are going to be significantly smaller in number to maintain social distancing.
Right.
We will also have hand sanitizing in entrance and exit of all of our rooms throughout the university. People will be moved through in a one-way system throughout the university to maintain social distancing. They won't be allowed to group gatherings either throughout the university, and we'll also have pretty much constant cleaning during the first start of the term as well.
One way always confused me at grocery, but that is good. I mean, you need to have.
Yeah, absolutely. And then for January, we usually only have quite a small intake, a significantly smaller intake, and we don't tend to have many undergraduate programs. We're having a huge bolstered January intake. So yeah, that's the plan.
So now I see that most of you will have you're planning. I mean, January will also. Most of the courses will be on offer in January as well. So that's something good. There's blended learning, and students, if they can join in the fall, they can all start in January in person. Shivani,
correct.
Much the same for you?
Pretty much, I think we have another concept, dual delivery, similar to what Jake said, but we have a little bit of difference there. We the students, international students, can take up the entire course online if they want. We don't have a last date of arrival or a last date to come on campus. I think this was a concern when some of them questioned about the new PSW or GIR. So as far as that's considered, if they enter the UK even by the 6th of April 2021, they would qualify for the 2-year stay back. So Brunel doesn't have any last date of coming on campus. You're more than welcome to join us for our postgraduate programs starting from the 21st of September and undergraduate from the 28th of September. But if for any reason you're unable to travel for the next couple of months as well, you're more than welcome to join us and transition into campus as and when convenient to you.
So for the master's course, even if they do both the semesters online, they can still get take advantage of the graduate.
Absolutely.
There is a whole study work. I mean, I keep.
Yes, as long as they enter the UK by 6th of April 2021, they will qualify for the 2-year GIR, or the older name, post-study work visa. Similar to what James said, of course, I'm sure all of us are organizing single entry and exit points. For example, with the library, you can book a slot when you want to go to the library. If you suddenly want to go to the library, we would obviously look at the total number of students in the library at that time. And obviously, I think it's probably just putting some processes in place to make sure social distancing is taken into consideration. Campus services are open even now, like our grocery store on campus is still open, servicing 1,300 students that we have living on campus yet. So yes. Sorry?
Our cafeteria is open, student
cafeteria is open. Obviously one is open right now. We've got multiple on campus from Subway, Starbucks, Costa, but we have opened just one. The grocery store is open, the pharmacy is open, the bank is open. So the basic services for students are open. All our accommodation at Brunel is on a single campus. We've got 4,500 rooms right at One Heart at our main campus itself. So students can walk to their classes. They don't really need to use public transport. So yes, we're hoping, that by January, or rather even earlier, we have a vaccine and we can beat COVID to it. And we can have a full.
We're all keeping our fingers crossed for that. So then that's very good to know that even in September, they can expect the normal things, like for a student, like the cafeteria, the library, the gym. So those aspects of studying abroad, they will have that. Jake, I wanted to ask you, Queen Mary is starting in mid-September. We know that VFS was closed for quite some time, and we have recently found out that in Bangladesh the VFS offices will open on July 12th. So what if there's backlogs in visas? I mean, what will happen? Will they get an extended deadline to join? I want to know that, and I also want to know. Initially, the visas are issued for a month, and the students are asked to join go to the UK within that month. And then they receive the BRP, which is extended. I mean, that is given for the valuation till the time of their degree. Now, right now, with all these travel restrictions, do you know how long will they still be issuing the visas for a month? And then what if that finishes and they cannot go before that?
Yes, very good questions, and ones that slightly difficult to answer. I think to the first question that we would, if students are unable to fly or there are travel restrictions when their course begins, they'll be able to enroll and access all of their learning resources online. So and then they'll be able to travel and join us when they can. I think in terms of the visa, from what we've been told is that students won't be penalised. They're unable to get a visa interview within that month time frame. But I think what we would urge students is to be very careful when they are filling out the visas applications, is that they do indicate that the date that they plan to actually arrive in the UK. But for what we have been told is they won't be penalised for that. In terms of the biometric residency permits, again, the information that we have is that students won't be penalised if they can't collect that within the 10 days, provided that the COVID sort of restrictions are still in place. There's lots of talk between the universities and the Home Office regarding this, and it may be that the biometric residency permits are are sent out to students' addresses rather than them having to collect it from a point in the university, or for some institutions at a local post office. So I think that those with the BRPs, there's a lot of discussion still going on around that, but students shouldn't be too concerned about that, because universities and the government are aware, and I think the policies and procedures around BRPs will change this year.
So that's very good to know. So then so we don't need to worry about those technicalities. I mean, as long as they have their visas, they begin their studies, they should be fine. They have later.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's on the agenda and it's being looked at, and there should be some sort of confirmation around that in the next couple of weeks.
I want to begin the next question with you, Shivani. You said that Brunel is on board with students going fully online. Will the tuition fees be cheaper if they choose fully online?
As much as we would have loved that to happen, unfortunately not. And I think we've been, we've cross-questioned this in multiple senior management meetings, and the feedback we've got is that to actually run programs online and to give and to ensure the quality of education still stays intact, it's actually more expensive to do so when we're running it online. So unfortunately, no discounts if we learn. So the choice is with the student. You're more than welcome to come on campus. In case you aren't able to fly due to travel restrictions or COVID, the option is open to you, so that you don't miss out on an academic learning because of a global pandemic. It's not your fault. It's none of our fault. But no discounts or no fee reductions, unfortunately, Tina. Sorry.
Is that I mean, of course, because the cost to the university and all of those are same. But that's a common question we have faced from students from time to time, that whether because they're not getting to go and because they're not getting the full experience. So I'm pretty much across the board, it is the same for everyone, I am guessing. So no good news on that, because you're still getting the same degree. And I think the university is also working hard to give sort of the same experience back to the students.
Absolutely. I mean, to getting academics to spend time not only teaching, researching, coming online, getting onto a Zoom call, I think it's taking up lots of effort. And I think we should, at the end of the day, they're still getting their full degree. It's not mentioning online anywhere. The value of the degree still remains the same. So it is with a pinch of salt, but I think we should accept that as the new normal, I think.
No, but I think the good news here is that what I was really happy to find out is the impact on the graduate scheme, the 2-year work permit that they get upon their graduation, that will remain. So even if they're studying online, even if they're studying for Brunel, I think it's the same for everybody else as well. Even if they study for the full length of the course online, as long as they're in the UK before April 5th, is that what you mentioned? So
April 6th.
April 5th. So as long as they're in the UK before April 5th, they will still get the full 2-year work permit to stay in the UK and look for, find employment. So that is very good to know.
Yeah, I think it's important to caveat, although the government have said that the graduate route will be introduced, there hasn't been a sort of final confirmation around that. The details haven't been fully fleshed out in terms of how students apply for that at the end of their program. So, as far as we know, again, the graduate route is going ahead, but we don't have final confirmation on that. So I probably should just put that as a slight disclaimer at the end of this
well,
discussion.
It can change anytime, but for now, we can at least we have that hope. So,
yeah,
so that is. I was really happy to find out from you all that all the campuses are getting ready for international students, and safety measures are being put in, and they can expect some element of normalcy. But I would still like to ask all of you, even despite all the fear, the confusion, whatever is happening, I would like to know. Maybe we can begin with Lee from London South Bank. Why should students still choose to come to London to study?
Well, I think it's the same reason, but it always has been. London is, in terms of is one of the most famous cities in the world, and the UK education system, whilst in the last couple of months it has undergone kind of a bit of a shift in terms of the way in which we're delivering, but the quality of the education is still there. And well, not just LSBU, but I'm sure Queen Mary, Hertfordshire, Brunel have been working incredibly hard to make sure that the student experience is not, interrupted by the current situation. So I still heavily encourage students to, continue applying to universities in London and hopefully join us in September. also, the one thing, everything we're talking about right now, it's all kind of subject to change to an extent, because we don't know what's going to happen within the next couple of months. So again, I still think it's very much worth applying and kind of weighing up options as we get closer to September.
Shivani?
I think that was really beautifully summarized by Lee, but I agree, actually. I think none of us knew in March how this pandemic is going to hit all of us. We're going to be in a lockdown, for example. We'd never heard of these words before. We slowly, most of the economies in the world that were initially hit are slowly coming back to normal. China's getting back to normal. Italy is getting back to normal. The UK is getting back to normal. And I think there's no better reason. I mean, COVID tried to stop all of us. I think we should stop it now. And the quality of education, the research, in fact, hopefully, probably the first vaccine is also coming out of the United Kingdom from Oxford University. So I don't think reason has to be there for change. Universities are extremely responsible. We're all public universities. We're all there for the health and well-being of our students. And I'm sure we will do the best to ensure their safety. That's why we've taken out, flexible options for them to arrive onto campus to start their studies online. In fact, after talking to a couple of South Asian students, the interest levels are higher than ever because they feel this is the right time to upskill themselves, to make their skill sets better so that they have better employment opportunities in the future. One option is you sit at home and, we all cry and, kind of complain about COVID. And the other way is to beat it. Absolutely. So I suppose, all of us are open. We're ready to teach you. We're ready to do the best that we can with all the precautions and the safety net that we can create for all the wonderful international students that want to come study with us.
Jake, why still London? Or why still Queen Mary?
Well, I think that most of the obvious points have been covered there, but I think that I actually think there will be advantages for students to study online or blended. I think that universities like Queen Mary, we really developed our online provision, and it's cutting edge and extremely accessible for students to use. And I think that having all of that provision online, as well as being supplemented by face-to-face or wraparound educational activities, will actually enhance the student experience. I mean, they have more access to things like lectures and seminars, both live and recorded. So I think that the provision and the support for students will actually be better, perhaps, than it has been in the past. So I think there are actual benefits of the situation that we find ourselves in. I think going back to what we said at the beginning of this discussion is that London really does feel like it's returning to normal. So I appreciate there are sort of travel restrictions in place at the moment, but I think that things are changing here on a weekly basis, and some of the restrictions are being relaxed. So I would hope that many of your students or students from Bangladesh are able to travel to London in the autumn, and that their experience of living in the UK and living in the capital city will not be hugely different to if they had come in any other year.
James? Thank you, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, obviously COVID had a huge impact on everything. Everything in the world has been stopped and slowed down by it. But one thing that hasn't changed are people's ambitions and aspirations to improve their employability, to get where they want to go in their career and have an international experience. Now, no matter how long the pandemic lasts, people still want to come to the UK, get a fantastic degree, get international work experience, work for a company like Microsoft or one of the other international global companies, and that will always remain the same. So ultimately, whatever your plans are, no matter how much COVID tries to hamper them, eventually, if you want to come and improve your life, improve your chances of getting the kind of jobs and careers that you want, you'll still be able to do that with Hertfordshire and all the other universities here today.
Well, thank you very much. I think those are great words of hope. We have some questions regarding entry requirements. So I just wanted to quickly ask you guys, any change, especially with the English language requirements? I think that's a lot of people have asked that question to us in the past as well. Would any of you like to take that up? I mean, what changes you made to the English language requirements?
Well, I think the major thing that we've done, and I'm sure other universities have done as well, is like obviously we've moved a lot of our learning online, so we're also accepting a lot of online English language tests. It's only fair. So we're now accepting Duolingo, the PBT Vasant test, the TOEFL test, password test as well. Our actual language requirements have remained the same, but the different types of English language tests that we're prepared to take, we've expanded those, and we're taking all the ones that you can do online.
So that's pretty much same for everyone. The English language requirements, they now accept the online tests of various online tests, so you don't need to worry if you have not taken one. You still have the time to take one.
I'll just add here, I think the Brunel English language test has been fairly popular in Bangladesh during the pandemic. It is a free test equivalent to an IELTS or a Duolingo, and it's applicable for UK visa requirements as well. Yes, we haven't reduced the IELTS requirements. So for some courses, you still need a 6.5 or a 6 depending on the program. But the Brunel English language test for all our offer holders are free of charge. We started running them from April, and we're running them all the way up till August as of now. And we are happy to run them for our January intake offer holders as well. So lots of support from our end, I think from all of us, to make your journey to come study in the UK slightly less stressful, with already all the other stress that is there in the world. So I'm sure we'll be as flexible as we can and support students to not get a pause in their academic journey with us.
Absolutely. And scholarship, that question always comes. I would like to know from each of you, please sum up the scholarships from that you offer for your universities for undergrad and postgrad students. Shall we start with you, Jake?
Yeah, absolutely. So we offer a range of different funding opportunities for international students, and for us it's mainly based on the program that the student's studying, and they're mainly awarded on the basis of academic excellence. So we have scholarships ranging up to around £4,000 on postgraduate courses like MSc Management, MSc Marketing, and then all of our LLM programs, and then courses in economics and finance. And students are assessed for these automatically when they apply on the basis of their academic grades. Similarly, we have students doing courses in our Faculty of Science and Engineering who receive a automatic award of £2,000 if they have A-star AA in their A-levels or equivalent, and we have similar awards of around £4,000 in areas, again, like business management, law, and economics. Queen Mary is one of the most popular chevening destinations as well. So we have anywhere between 60 and 80 chevening scholars every year, and always 4 or 5 from Bangladesh, and those are predominantly on our LLM law programs.
James?
Yeah, we have a range of scholarships at the University of Hertfordshire. So for our undergraduate programs, it's £13,000 per year, and our postgraduate programs, it's £13,500 per year. So already quite an affordable option as a higher education provider. But we offer scholarships at £1,000, £2,000, and £4,000. That's for students who have excellent academics, and the way that which their statement of purpose is written and their academic grades, we will then review. You don't have to make any further application. We just look at the application, and once you've submitted it, we'll let you know what kind of scholarship that we can give you in terms of that way as well. We have an early bird scholarship for students who pay their fees before the 31st of July, but we also will be adding a clearing scholarship for anyone coming off paying the deposit after that period of time as well. So that'll be an extra £1,000 as well. So there's a range of different options that we have to make it a more affordable experience.
Anything from South Bank?
Yeah, absolutely. So for our undergraduate students, we have a sort of academic merit scholarship, which is £3,000 per year. And then for our master's students, we also have a similar scholarship, which is £4,000 for their course. We also do have an international scholarship of around £1,500. Now, the cool thing about LSBU is that all students will be eligible for one of these discounts. So it'll either be the £1,500 or the £3,000 or the £4,000. And the good thing about it is our admissions team will assess automatically. So there's no extra work to be put in by the students or their representatives.
Right. Brunel?
Our scholarships, we offer the International Excellence Scholarship, which is an academic merit scholarship. So you have to apply with a separate form for it once you get an offer. However, the value of the scholarship is quite substantial. So if you're doing an undergraduate program with us and if you secure the scholarship, it's £6,000 per year. And if you're doing a postgraduate program with us, then obviously, since mostly it's one year taught programs, it's going to be 6,000. But that needs to be applied. No essays to be written, but largely it's on the basis of your academic merit in your previous qualification that we look at as far as your scholarship is considered. We also do a couple of clearing scholarships. Let's say if students get 3 A stars or 2 A stars with an A, we could look at giving them a £3,000 per year scholarship. So lots of options around that, but mostly they're merit based.
I have a question from an A-level student. I think it's a very, very important question, because students who were supposed to take the A-levels this year, who did not get a chance to take their exams, are getting grades, grades based on their past performance. So, and they don't know yet, they'll get their grades in August. So the student is asking, will the universities be kinder in looking at our grades this year, especially because we didn't get a chance to fight for it?
I'm sure. I suppose. I think, yes, for Brunel, definitely, we will be as flexible and as, we stretch ourselves as much as we can. We can't reduce the quality, but however, we will ensure that we're as flexible as possible.
You think any good news from Queen Mary?
Yeah, absolutely. So students that already held offers at Queen Mary, we actually wrote to them about a month ago to say that we would guarantee their place if they dropped 1 grade in their A-levels or the equivalent, because we understand the sort of challenges they face not being able to sit their exams. So that's what we guaranteed. So it's quite rare. It's not, I've not heard of that before.
Grade drop. That's quite significant.
Guarantee it. I think also there could be further flexibility. That depends on what other students achieve when their A-level results come out. But the international baccalaureate results came out on the 6th of July, so on Monday, and we did try and exercise as much flexibility and understanding there as possible, because a lot of the teachers and counsellors who work with their students felt that they were graded very harshly. So
teachers are even stricter, right? Even the teachers themselves admitted that they were a bit stricter.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that, where students have applied to Queen Mary and drop a grade, they will be guaranteed that place. But if they drop 2 grades, then, we will try and still confirm their place. And, be optimistic that we'll be flexible. For any student who hasn't applied to Queen Mary, we'll be publishing lower A-level grade requirements on our website for sometime in the next sort of 2 weeks, so that the students who are getting their A-level results in mid-August will be able to look at our requirements quite early and then decide whether they'd like to approach Queen Mary and see if they can obtain a place through clearing. So I think there is definite flexibility and scope for any student if they get lower grades than expected, both if they're an offer holder or a prospective student that wants to come through clearing.
James and Lee, do you want to add anything else to that?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I was going to add very similar comments to Shivani in that, this is a really, really unprecedented time, and I think everyone's had to be really, really flexible, and these students have been incredibly disrupted, and a lot of them have handled it really, really well. So I think it would be unfair of us to not show kind of any form of flexibility. I'm not entirely sure what's LSBU itself, what we have planned at the moment, but from speaking to the senior team, we are looking at showing a good amount of flexibility with these grades.
James?
Yeah, exactly. The same case as everybody else, really. We'll be looking at grades, and also as well for students who've got their prospective grades, we can look at given offers based on that. Now, obviously, we need to still wait to see the outcome, etc., etc. But for example, if we're looking at giving out scholarships to people, we can look at what you're predicted to get, and from that we can kind of really garner a good idea of would you be worthy of a scholarship as well. So yeah, it's extremely unfair for this group of 18-year-olds to be so badly hampered by this, and obviously the A-levels was disruptive, but it will not stop them from being able to come to university. We can promise you that.
That is very good to know. I thank you all for your time. And I'm so glad that we did this show.
Thank you very much, Tina.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you,
everyone.
Tina.
Lovely to see you
Pleasure
all.
anytime.
Thank you. I will wrap the show now. I'm really happy আজকের শোটা করার পরে. I think there's good news from all around, even entry A-level students, those who are worried about your expected grades not coming up as how you wanted it to be. You now know that universities are looking to be lenient. They're going to be dropping their requirements, and international students are London campus are getting ready for international students. That is very good to know. You can expect some sort of normalcy. সো ভালো লাগলো আমাদের আজকের শোটা করে. যারা এখনো চিন্তা ভাবনা করছো যে লন্ডনে পড়তে যাওয়ার জন্য, চিন্তা করবার কিছু নেই. আমরা যেটা বুঝলাম যে ইউনিভার্সিটি ক্যাম্পাসে সবই রেডি হচ্ছে স্টুডেন্টদেরকে ওয়েলকাম করার জন্য. অনলাইন ব্লেন্ডেড লার্নিং যেটাকে বলে, যে কিছুটা ক্লাস অনলাইন কিছুটা ক্লাস ইন পার্সন, এভাবে করে ব্যাপারটা হবে. আর যদি কারো যেতে দেরিও হয়, ওরা অনেকদিন সময় দিচ্ছে. ইনফ্যাক্ট পুরো কোর্সটা যদি অনলাইনেও করতে হয়, মাস্টার্স এর ক্ষেত্রে স্পেশালি, যে পুরো 2 সেমেস্টার যদি কেউ অনলাইনে করে, তারপরেও তারা 2 বছরের যে ওয়ার্ক পারমিটটা পাওয়া যায় গ্রাজুয়েশন করার পরে, তারপরেও সেটা পাওয়ার সম্ভাবনা আছে. এবং সবাই দেরিতে জয়নিং ডেটসও দিচ্ছে. এবং ক্যাম্পাসেও when you go on campus normalcy থাকবে, মোটামুটি ক্যাফেটেরিয়া, লাইব্রেরি, জিম সবই খোলা থাকবে. Thank you all very much for joining in. I'm very happy to tell you that London is open, and all international students are very welcome. We are going to end the show here today. Please do send us your questions, and on the comment thread, we can send you your answers.